Today we will discuss a subject that will definitely pique your curiosity much, and that is how to clear our brains and quit obsessing over everything. Sounds fantastic. Exactly. All of us experience this, but it doesn't have to be like way. The Stoic millenary wisdom teaches us that we may train our brains to be calmer and more focused. How would one do it? We follow that. We are going to discover today each of these 16 strategies has a foundation in Stoic philosophy and is designed to help us live in a more serene and balanced way. We are going to explore each one in detail, explaining not only how to apply them in our daily lives, but also why they work and how they can transform our way of thinking. In addition, to give it a special touch, I will accompany each strategy with a phrase from a Stoic philosopher that inspires us and helps us better understand the concept. First strategy. Use positive affirmations. Let's move forward with a strategy that is often overlooked but can have a great impact: positive affirmations. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "The greatest part of happiness depends on our disposition, not our circumstances." Positive affirmations are statements that we repeat to ourselves to encourage a positive mindset and empowered. Why they are important? Because our thoughts have a great power over our perception of reality. If we constantly say negative things to ourselves, we are going to see the world in a negative way. But if we change our internal mind and start telling ourselves positive things, our perspective can change drastically. Imagine that you get up in the morning and the first thing you think is today. It is going to be a difficult day that will probably influence in how your day unfolds. But if you say to yourself, today, I have the opportunity to do amazing things, that affirmation can motivate you and give you a more positive attitude. Positive affirmations work because they help us reprogram our mind, focusing on it, achieving rather than what we fear. This reduces anxiety and rumination as we stay focused on constructive and encouraging thoughts. To start using affirmations, identify areas where you feel insecure or negativity, then create counteracting affirmations in those thoughts. For example, if you're worried that you're not good enough at your job, you could tell yourself, "I'm capable and confident in my abilities." Repeat these affirmations daily, especially in times of doubt or stress. What do you think? Ready to try the positive affirmations? Let's continue with the second strategy. But first, choose a positive affirmation that you can start to use today. Second strategy simplifies your life. Let's talk about something that may seem obvious, but that we often forget to simplify our life. Seneca also said, "It is the mind that does good or evil that makes us unhappy or happy, rich or poor." In our modern world, we are surrounded by complexity. We have too many things, too many tasks, and too many worries. All this contributes to our mind feeling overloaded. Simplifying our life means reducing excess in all its forms: material things, social commitments, even unnecessary thoughts. Think about your house. How many things you have that you don't really need? Each additional object is a mental burden. The same goes for our daily activities. Sometimes we commit to too many things and end up feeling overwhelmed. By simplifying, we create more space in our life and in our mind. Why this is effective? Because everything we eliminate reduces the amount of things we have to think about and worry about. Fewer things mean fewer decisions to make, less clutter to handle, and more time and energy to focus on what really matters. Start by doing a teaching in your environment. Get rid of things you don't need or that don't bring you joy. Then review your commitments and see if there is anything you can simplify or delegate. Finally, try simplifying your thoughts by practicing mindfulness and focusing on the present. Third strategy. Limit the information you consume. The next strategy can be a bit challenging in our digital age, but it is crucial to limit the amount of information you consume. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts," and our thoughts are often influenced by the information we receive. We live in a world saturated with information, news, social media, emails, messages, everything. It competes for our attention. This can lead to information overload where our mind feels constantly bombarded and stressed. Limiting the amount of information we consume helps us reduce this mental noise. How you can do it? Start by being more selective with the sources of information you choose. Choose only those that really add value to you and avoid those that only generate stress or anxiety. Also set time limits for use of electronic devices. For example, you can decide to check the news only once a day or limit the time you spend on social media. Why this is effective? Because when we reduce the amount of information we consume, we give our mind a break. This allows us to better process the information that really matters and gives us more mental space for creativity and deep thinking. You are savoring the moment. This is a great approach to be mindful while looking after your body. This works as exercise not only improves our physical state but also helps us better control stress and anxiety. It also provides us with a sense of accomplishment and well-being that can improve our overall attitude towards life. Then you are encouraged to incorporate more exercise into your daily routine. Fifth strategy. Meditate daily. Let's talk about a practice that may seem simple but has a profound impact. Daily meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool to calm the mind and reduce excess thoughts. It's about taking time every day to sit quietly, focus on the breath, and observe thoughts without judging them. By doing this, we train our mind to be more present and less reactive. Imagine that you find a quiet place, sit comfortably and close your eyes, take a deep breath and focus on the air going in and out of your lungs. If your mind starts to wander, you simply bring it back to the breath without judging yourself. This regular practice helps reduce stress and anxiety, allowing you to better manage daily challenges. Why it works? Because meditation allows us to observe our thoughts without getting hooked on them. This creates a mental space where we can see things more clearly and less emotionally over time. This reduces the amount of overwhelming thoughts and helps us develop a calmer and more focused mind. Sixth tactic. Establish unambiguous limits. Let's keep on with something really necessary for our mental peace. Define exact limits. Epictetus warns us, nobody can damage you without your permission. This relates also to our capacity to establish limits. Establishing limits is precisely stating your willingness to accept and your non-acceptance of certain things. This covers constraints on your relationships, time, and energy. When we lack limits, we may get overwhelmed and angry as the expectations of others consume us. Imagine yourself at work and your manager wants you to stay late 3 times this week. Setting a boundary could mean saying, I understand that this is important, but I also need time to rest and recharge today. I can't stay up late. This can be uncomfortable at first, but it's crucial for your well-being. Why this works? Because when we set clear boundaries, we protect our energy and time. This allows us to focus on what really matters and reduces the amount of stress and anxiety in our life. It also helps us have healthier relationships, as people understand and respect our needs. So what do you think? Ready to start setting clearer boundaries? We're going to continue with the 7th strategy, but first think about an area of your life where you could benefit from setting a clear boundary. 7th strategy. Surround yourself with positive people. Let's talk about something that can have a great impact on our minds, the people we surround ourselves with. I said, the most powerful man is the one who owns himself. Part of owning ourselves is choosing our companies wisely. The people we spend time with can greatly influence our mentality. If we are surrounded by people negative, they are likely to absorb that negativity instead. If we surround ourselves with positive and supportive people, our outlook also tends to be more positive. Imagine that you have a friend who always finds the bright side of things, who supports and motivates you. Spending time with that person inspires you and makes you feel better about yourself. On the other hand, if you have a friend who always complains and sees the side negative, that can drain your energy and affect your mind. Why this works? Because emotions and attitudes are contagious. When we are in a positive environment, we feel happier and less stressed. This does not mean that we should avoid people who are going through difficult times, but we do mean that we should be aware of how our relationships affect us and make an effort to surround ourselves with people who will affect us. Let me discuss a crucial Stoic philosophical tactic: embracing impermanence. Mark Aurelius said, "Observe how many waves of change have passed over you. You will have understood that things that are always changing should not be feared." Adopting impermanence helps one to see that everything in life, including circumstances, emotions, and ourselves, is transient. We are always changing. This understanding helps us to reduce much of our tension and worry. Imagine that you are confronting a difficulty in your life, something that makes you very stressed. Accepting impermanence helps you realize that this challenge will not last indefinitely. Everything happens, both the good and the bad. This helps us free from the illusion that things must remain the same to be good. By internalizing this, you realize that you don't need to hold on to anything so tightly, and this can bring a great deal of peace of mind. Why it works? Because when we accept that things change, we become more flexible and resilient. Instead of fighting against change, we accept it and adapt. This reduces the amount of unnecessary thoughts and worries since we are not constantly trying to control the uncontrollable. Ninth strategy. Dedicate time to your hobbies. We are going to talk about something that we often forget in the maelstrom of daily life. Dedicate time to our hobbies. Epictetus reminds us, leisure without books, it is the death and sepulchre of the living man. Our hobbies are activities that we are passionate about and bring us joy. When we dedicate time to them, we allow ourselves to disconnect from daily worries and focus on something that makes us happy. This is not only a mental break, but it can also be a source of inspiration and creativity. Imagine that you enjoy painting. Dedicating an hour a day to paint can be a wonderful way to relax your mind and express your emotions. It's not about being the best at your hobby, but about enjoying it and allowing that time for yourself. Why it works? Because when we give ourselves permission to enjoy our hobbies, we are feeding our soul. This reduces stress and helps us maintain a healthy balance in our life. Plus, hobbies can be a great way to practice mindfulness as we fully immerse ourselves in the activity. So what do you think? Ready to spend more time on your hobbies? We're going to continue with the 10th strategy, but first think of a hobby that you enjoy and how you could integrate it more into your routine. 10th strategy, learn to say no. Now we're going to talk about something that many of us have a hard time learning to say no. Sika said, no, it's not because things are hard that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare. They're hard. Saying no can be one of the most powerful skills we can develop to protect our peace of mind. We often feel compelled to say yes to all the demands made of us, whether at work, in our family, or in our friendships. But this can lead us to feel overburdened and resentful. Imagine someone asking you to take on an additional project at work. If you are already at the limit of your abilities, saying yes will only cause you more stress. On the other hand, saying no respectfully and firmly protects your time and energy. Why it works? Because when we learn to say no, we are setting healthy boundaries. This allows us to focus on what really matters and avoid burnout. Saying no does not mean being selfish, but taking care of ourselves. So what do you think? Ready to start saying no when necessary? We are going to continue with the 11th strategy, but first think of a recent situation in which you could have said no, and how would it have changed your stress level? 11th strategy, cultivate patience. We are going to talk about something that is essential to stay calm and serene. Cultivate patience. Marco Aurelio, he said, the art of living is more like a struggle than a dance, because life must be lived by fighting and on guard against sudden blows. Patience is the ability to accept or tolerate delay, problems, or suffering without getting angry or anxious in our fast-paced, results-oriented world, often all immediately, which can lead to frustration and stress. Cultivating patience allows us to better handle difficult situations and reduce the number of overwhelming thoughts. Imagine that you are in a long line waiting for your turn. Instead of feeling impatient and stressed, you decide to take a deep breath and accept that this is a time to practice patience. Perhaps use this time to reflect, to observe your surroundings, or simply to relax. Why it works? Because patience allows us to accept things as they are without trying to force them to be different. This reduces mental resilience and anxiety. When we are patient, we give ourselves space to respond instead of reacting, which helps us make wiser decisions and stay calm. So what do you think? Ready to practice more patience? We are going to follow up with the 12th strategy, but first reflect on a recent situation where you could have been more patient and how that would have changed your experience. 12th strategy, find time for nature. Now let's talk about something that has incredible power to calm our minds. Spending time in nature reminded us of happiness is peace of soul. Spending time outdoors surrounded by nature can have a deeply calming effect on our mind. Nature offers us a respite from the noise and hustle and bustle of everyday life, connects us to something, reminds us of the beauty and simplicity of life. Imagine taking a walk in the park or taking a walk in the woods, feeling the fresh air, listening to the birds singing, and seeing the greenery all around you. This simple act can help you clear your mind, reduce stress, and feel more connected and calm. You will have more time to be present, to savor activities free from interruptions, and to re-establish personal contact. Why does it go through? Digital disconnection gives our mind a respite from the continuous barrage of stimuli, therefore lowering tension and anxiety and enabling us to be more present and focused. Using technology deliberately instead of reactively helps us also build a better connection with it. Practice forgiveness. Let's talk now about something that can free up a lot of mental and emotional space. Practice forgiveness. Epictetus taught us it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Forgiveness is not about justifying or accepting the negative behavior of others, but about freeing our mind from resentment and bitterness. When we hold a grudge, we keep alive a wound that only causes us pain, and practice forgiveness. It allows us to heal and move forward. Imagine that someone has hurt you. Practicing forgiveness does not mean that what they did is right, but that you decide not to allow that wound to control your life. By forgiving, you release that burden and allow your mind to focus on the present and the positive. Why it works? Because resentment and anger consume a lot of mental energy. By practicing forgiveness, we release that energy and reduce negative thoughts. Not only improve our mental health, but also allow us to live a fuller and happier life. So, what do you think? Ready to practice forgiveness? We are going to continue with the DEA strategy, but first think of a situation in which you could benefit from forgiving someone and how that could change your life. A fifth strategy: keep a personal journal. We are going to talk about a practice that can be very useful to organize your thoughts and emotions. Keep a personal journal. Marco Aurelio in his Meditations showed us how the act of writing can be a powerful tool for introspection and mental clarity. Journaling allows you to express your thoughts and feelings freely. It's a way to vent and better understand your emotions. By putting your thoughts on paper, you can see things more clearly and find solutions to your problems. Imagine that you're feeling overwhelmed by a situation in your life. By writing about it in your journal, you can explore your feelings and reflect on possible approaches and solutions. This not only helps you process your emotions, but also reduces the mental load. By getting thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Why it works? Because the act of writing helps us organize our thoughts and see things from a different perspective. It's a form of self-therapy that can reduce anxiety and stress and fostering self-understanding and personal growth. 16th strategy: practice self-compassion. Finally, we come to our last strategy: practicing the Mint told us. We often suffer more in imagination than in reality. Practicing self-compassion helps us to be kinder to ourselves and reduce self-imposed suffering. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would show to a dear friend. When we make mistakes or face challenges, it is easy to be critical of ourselves. Self-compassion teaches us to accept our imperfections and to give ourselves permission to be human. Imagine that you have made a mistake at work. Instead of punishing yourself mentally, you decide to be compassionate with yourself. You tell yourself, it is okay to make mistakes, we all do it. The important thing is to learn from them and move forward. This attitude not only reduces the stress and anxiety, but it also fosters a mindset of growth and resilience. Why it works? Because self-compassion helps us manage stress and pressure in a healthier way. Rather than adding suffering with self-criticism, we support ourselves with understanding and love. This allows us to recover faster from setbacks and maintain a calmer and more balanced mind.